A routine trash collector, Jace found something in an untied bag, which is related from a mystery. As helicopters circle and the neighborhood falls under an eerie surveillance, Jace is thrust into a web of secrets and danger. What began as an ordinary day turns a trash collector's life near to death. But before we start, if you guys like this story, please comment below and subscribe to Story. Storer, please hit the bell icon. Thank you. The hum of the garbage truck echoed through the quiet neighborhood as Jace, a veteran trash collector, worked his route with mechanical precision. Tossing bags into the hopper, his routine was interrupted by a black trash bag at the curb. It wasn't tied shut, the edges slightly open, revealing something unusual. Frowning, he knelt and carefully tugged at the opening, his gloves feeling the weight of something solid inside. What he found made his breath hitch. A package, its edges frayed and tape-aged. But it wasn't just any package. The label bore a name he recognized, one that stirred old memories and unease. Jonathan Hale, the name of the once famous tech mogul who had vanished years ago under a cloud of mystery and scandal. Jace's pulse quickened. The package wasn't meant to be here. It was addressed to the massive, abandoned mansion at the end of the street, a place the neighborhood had avoided for over a decade. He stared at the bag, his thoughts swirling with questions. Then, the sound of approaching helicopters sliced through the morning air, breaking the eerie stillness. Jace's heart sank. Whatever he had just uncovered, it wasn't meant to be found. Jonathan Hale's name had once dominated headlines, a symbol of innovation and power. His company, Hale Dynamics, had revolutionized technology before collapsing in one catastrophic night. Scandals of fraud, intellectual theft, and corruption erupted, and Hale himself vanished without a trace, leaving the mansion behind as a decaying relic of his shattered empire. The neighborhood whispered about the mansion. It stood as a monument to the unresolved mystery, its boarded windows and rusted gates a constant reminder of Hale's disappearance. Some claimed he fled the country, others believed something darker had happened. But no one dared approach the house. It seemed cursed. Jace knew the rumors well, but now, holding the package bearing Hale's name, they felt uncomfortably real. His hands trembled as he thought about the helicopters circling above. Were they connected to the package or the mansion? The weight of the discovery pressed down on him, and a chilling thought crept into his mind. This wasn't an accident. The package wasn't just trash. It was meant to be found. But by who? Jace placed the bag in the truck and stared toward the mansion. A storm was brewing, and he was standing right in its path. The low thrum of chopper blades filled the air, growing louder with every passing second. Jace looked up from his truck, his pulse quickening as 3 helicopters emerged over the rooftops, their sleek forms circling the neighborhood like birds of prey. He froze, gripping the steering wheel tightly. The helicopters weren't just passing through, they were staying, scanning the area. His gaze flicked to the bag in the passenger seat. The package, the name on the label, it was all connected, but how? His stomach twisted with a growing sense of dread. The neighborhood had always been quiet, its biggest dramas limited to petty squabbles about yard maintenance. Now, the sight of tactical helicopters over his route felt surreal, like stepping into a scene from a spy movie. Jace glanced at the mansion at the end of the block, its eerie silhouette standing stark against the morning sky. The helicopters seemed to orbit it, their presence amplifying the tension. The radio in his truck crackled, startling him. A frantic voice broke through. "All units, clear the area immediately. Situation critical." Jace's heart pounded. Whatever was happening, he wasn't just an observer anymore. The quiet routine of his morning had transformed into something dangerous, something he couldn't escape. Jonathan Hale had been more than just a tech mogul. He was a force of nature. Hale Dynamics wasn't just a company. It was the future until it wasn't. On the night of his company's catastrophic product failure, Hale disappeared without warning, leaving behind a trail of speculation and chaos. The media had pounced, spinning tales of corporate espionage, financial ruin, and even murder, but no one could prove anything. Hale's estate became a ghostly monument to his fall from grace. The mansion, once a symbol of wealth and innovation, was now a decaying husk, abandoned to time and weather. Neighbors whispered about strange lights and noises at night, but no one dared investigate. The rumors grew, but answers remained elusive. Now, years later, Jace found himself holding a piece of that enigma. The package, the label with Hale's name, it all felt like a ghost rising from the past. He couldn't shake the feeling that the discovery wasn't an accident. The helicopters above weren't random either. Something was happening, and it revolved around Hale's legacy. As Jace stared toward the mansion, a chill ran down his spine. Hale had vanished without a trace, but maybe the answers had been here all along, waiting to be found. Jace's truck rumbled down the street, but his eyes stayed glued to the mansion at the end of the block. Even in daylight, it loomed like a dark shadow, its once grand facade decayed by time. The white paint was cracked and peeling, ivy snaked up the walls, and the wrought iron gates hung crooked on their rusted hinges. The house had always unsettled him, even as a kid. It was the kind of place that seemed to absorb sound, standing deathly silent no matter the time of day. Stories about it had circulated for years, rumors of ghostly figures in the windows or unexplained noises late at night. Now, as helicopters circled overhead, the mansion's ominous presence seemed more tangible than ever. Jace's pulse quickened. Was the package meant to lead him here? The mansion wasn't just a relic of Hale's past. It felt alive, as if waiting for someone to uncover its secrets. Parked behind a diner, Jace couldn't resist the urge to examine the package further. His hands trembled as he peeled away the aged tape, revealing a small battered notebook inside. The notebook's pages were yellowed and fragile, filled with handwritten notes, schematics, and cryptic symbols. One page caught his attention, a faint code scrawled along the margin. It was a series of numbers and letters, its meaning elusive. Flipping through the notebook, Jace noticed something else. A list of dates, each tied to mysterious entries. One date, circled in bold red ink, sent a chill down his spine. It was today. The realization hit him like a punch to the gut. The package wasn't random. It had been placed deliberately. The code and the date were clues, pieces of a puzzle meant to lead somewhere. The only question was, where? And why him? Jace's hands shook as he flipped through the notebook, deciphering fragments of its cryptic content. Names, coordinates, and designs filled the pages, pointing to something bigger than he could comprehend. The circled date loomed large in his mind. Suddenly, it clicked. The code was tied to a location, Hale's mansion. Jace's heart raced as he realized the package had been planted for him to find, meant to guide him to the decaying estate. The air felt heavy with tension as the helicopters loomed overhead. With the notebook in hand, Jace decided there was no turning back. Approaching the mansion's gates, Jace felt the weight of the moment. His discovery had triggered a chain reaction he couldn't stop. Inside, agents swarmed, having intercepted the package's signal. Jace handed over the notebook, their stern faces betraying the gravity of its contents. As the mansion was searched, whispers of Hale's legacy surfaced. A conspiracy buried for a decade. Jace stood outside, watching the chaos unfold, knowing his life would never be the same.